Well, it's another day and another New York Times front page reference. I didn't know this was coming, and I might have missed it altogether because I don't really pay attention to page views anymore. And I've given up confidence that the Times is good for anything when it comes to delivering traffic. But one of my freak friends pointed this out to me. He's like, there you are again on the front page of the Times. And I guess he's referring to this. What else could it be? The phone booth of the mind. Phone booths may be obsolete, but they still offer a good model for keeping our phones from taking over our lives. That's a cool illustration. I guess this isn't going to be in print. This looks like an email-only newsletter. I did actually scope out a copy of the Times, a print copy just earlier, but I didn't even bother looking for it. So it said a crowd gathered in Times Square recently for the removal of what the city promoted. Careful how you refer to this. What the city promoted as New York's last public payphone. End of an era, declared the news release headline, even though the era when payphones played any meaningful role in New Yorkers' lives certainly ended a long time ago. Boy, that's the truth. But here's my bit, and I remember saying this. People miss a period of time when a call meant something. Mark Thomas of the Payphone Project told the Times. When you planned it and you thought about it and you took a deep breath and you put your quarter in. I guess that's suitably, I don't know. There's one paragraph in a short piece. I do like the movie that she references. My sentimental idea of the phone booth, Richard Dreyfuss calling Marcia Mason from outside her apartment in the rain at the end of The Goodbye Girl. That's a really great scene. That's a great phone booth scene. She says it's a time capsule of a romantic vision of the past. No, it's a nice little piece. And thanks to my freaker friends who brought it to my attention. And I've gotten some emails from far corners of my life in response to this. That's always nice. There's even somebody that I still keep in contact with from the old apology line. And this is the so-called last payphone of New York, but anyone who follows my YouTube stuff knows better, right? Might be going out to Coney Island tomorrow to see if I think there's at least one out there, maybe two. Anyway, just wanted to point out that I'm on the front page again. Front page of the website, that is. So if you've never seen this before, it's kind of cool. This is the raw access log, which I'm watching in real time as page views come into my website. And it's a pretty crude way to keep up with what's happening on your site, but I always got a kick out of watching it. And I applied filters to it, so normally I'm not seeing all these garbage hits from places like Pedal Search, and I'm not usually seeing all the WordPress effluvia, because every WordPress page has like 200 pieces, 200 components. But it's nice to know somebody's checking in on the Chesapeake, Virginia mailboxes. And there goes somebody looking at a specific mailbox in Washington State. And here comes a hit to a specific payphone number in Cambridge. That always interests me when somebody lands directly on a specific payphone number, because they must be looking for that number. And if it's really a payphone, they must be getting weird calls from it or something. I don't typically know what's going on. But here's a hit from somebody who has drilled down to page 5 of the Payphone Confidential section. And that shows somebody's digging deep. Yeah, it's not hard to tell garbage traffic from the real once you get used to it. But this is really just the raw data that ends up looking like this fancy graph, and this shows you that today it's head and shoulders above the other days, but these days were from, I guess these are the other time stories, but most of the traffic these days I think came from the New Yorker. I don't think I got a single page view from that big New York Times piece about the alleged last payphone in New York. Anyway, you can burn a lot of time just staring at this. It used to go a lot faster. There used to be a lot more traffic on my sites. I mean, it was so fast that I couldn't even, it would be useless trying to watch this. But things change.
So I ended up getting down here way early today on a Saturday. Somebody sent me word last night that the so-called Doomsday Payphone is up for sale. There was some talk recently about the end of an era and the so-called last payphone of New York. It was all a big fat lie, but that doesn't matter. I think it really is the end of something when the last independently owned phone, or the last independent payphone service provider in New York City finally throws in the towel. I've known John a long time. We're not buddies or anything, but we communicate probably 2 or 3 times a year. He got a shout out in that New York Times piece, although it was only in the online version. But you know what he's asking? And he'll probably get it very easily. He's asking $200 for that thing. But he also stipulates that he makes the comment that you have to come get it. And that suggests to me that maybe he's selling it because the property owner wants that thing gone. That phone is located on in a strip mall, so it's not a street phone. Funny thing is, when I first saw the posting, I thought it was a joke. I thought some unassociated person was saying that, hey, here's this payphone, come take it and give me $200. But from the language of the posting, it pretty obviously is legit. And I saw in the context that he had a bunch of other stuff up for grabs, other stuff for sale. And that makes sense because his next big thing had been what I guess you call a secondhand store. In the meantime, this one still remains. But it's not lost on me that one day it's going to be gone. And I'll have to think of something else to do when I get to work every day. It's a nice view toward how the road bends up ahead. Same with this way. This is Nassau Street. They had an enormous American flag on front of the stock exchange for a while, but it's gone now. And you know, something's going on here because I've been putting a card here every day. And normally the card stays there for like a week. But every single one that I put in the last week has been removed by who or what, I don't know. But typically they stay there for a week. And by the way, there's another one of these type of phones on Coney Island. And this is new graffiti, which makes me ask if somebody's trying to tell me something. Somebody's trying to communicate with me. I doubt it. I tried to find anything on that graffiti, but I didn't find anything. Quail with an asterisk and a halo over the U. Let's see how Fosun Plaza looks. For the first weeks that I was down here, I kept calling it Fosun. Got those Fosun Plaza blues. I was also down here for a good few months before discovering that this circular art piece in the middle is the work of Osamu Noguchi, who is the founder of the Noguchi Museum and Socrates Sculpture Park, which are basically right down the street from where I live. There's like tumbleweed blowing through here. As these things were blowing toward me, I thought it might be a rat out of the corner of my eye. zoom. That's one thing my previous camera didn't have. Previous phone, I should say. Ooh, I'm getting dizzy. In fact, I am dizzy. I'm going to stop recording now. I should correct myself. I mean, my previous phone had zoom, but it was digital zoom. This is supposed to be optical. I don't know. I'll be the judge of that when I watch this later. If it makes any difference, that is. I'll be the judge as to whether it makes any difference. Just thought there was something kind of nubile about a handset hanging there. It's like you're looking at a woman's back, or that's how I used to interpret it. In this case, a broken back. Broke back payphone. Oh, look, my card from last time is still there. I interpret that to mean that an interested party took the other one. And somebody really arted up the handsets this time. Made them look more aspirational. Yeah, this one's intact. Well, a few are gone and a few remain. I remember pointing out that I was sticking these cards on those link machines in earnest for a little while. And I tallied 3 connections altogether. 3 calls from people that found the card and dialed the number from a link machine. And for that style of like guerrilla advertising, guerrilla marketing, whatever you want to call it, 3 calls is pretty damn good. There's no way to tell who picks these cards up off the phones, though. Anyway, I better get to work. Well, this was too beautiful a scene to let go undocumented. The link machine on Wall Street. I started recording by mistake, but why not let it go? I ended up with half the day off at work because I had a fucking panic attack and I didn't have the proper pills to bring me back to earth. I had some pills, but they weren't enough. So I thought I'd just slip on home, just go back the way I came, and I knew that sounded too easy. There were no N or R trains running to Astoria because there was a fire in the tunnel, and they didn't have an estimate for when they were going to open the tunnel again. So I thought I'd either take the Q32 bus to Queens and then the Q102 bus but the Q32 was canceled for the day for something to do with an event, a parade or something. So I thought I'd get a bus downtown to 42nd Street, and all their bus arrival time signs were saying that they weren't going to be there for like 45 minutes. I've never seen those that high. So as I walked down to Grand Central to get the 7 train, I started calming down. These pills that I had were effective, but they just take a very long time. 2 hours is a long time to be like that. 2 hours, like, I basically forget. But I'm always able to go through the motions. At least I think I am. But I get shaky and my vision gets weird and creamy, and obviously I shouldn't have been at work. And one of the very nice, this doesn't happen to me at this job until now. But she was very nice about just getting me out as quickly as possible. I explained to her that I know the drill here. I know what's happening. And I know I'll be fine in a couple hours. And I'll be back on Monday. I'll be just fine. With the help of some magical pharmaceuticals. So that's why I'm home a little early. And I wanted to check on the Doomsday phone, because for all I know it's gone already. A friend this morning alerted me to a for sale posting on Facebook. And it's the Doomsday phone. It's the one and only. And he's selling it for $200. And I'm like, is that a joke? But maybe he just wants so badly to get rid of it without just giving it away. At first I thought the posting was a joke because it claimed to have been posted by somebody in some village somewhere in Belgium. But I read the verbiage of the posting, and it's definitely the guy that owns the Doomsday phone. I guess he just does the Belgium thing as some kind of joke. So one friend already offered to buy it and keep it running. But I think it might be a question of he has to get rid of it because it's on private property, and I've got to think that a landlord's going to get sick and tired of having a payphone on their lot. They're going to get sick and tired of that eventually. Especially when it's a pretty ugly ass construction with big ugly "your ad here" signs. Maybe he'd feel different if there were ever actually ads on them. Normally I hate the rain, I really do, but I wanted to take this opportunity to see if there's anything to be said about the Doomsday phone before its apparent imminent removal. Okay, I thought I had just recorded a lengthy bit where I made a call and it worked, and it swallowed my quarter, which it's supposed to do. a well-earned quarter for connecting my to my payphone radio. So I put these cards in and took another look at this card, which is supposed to contain identifying information about who owns it and who to call if you lose money into this. But none of this information is useful. It's just a game. I'll put this back. But every time I see this, could be the last. Of course, you could say that about a lot of things. These big ugly ads never attracted any advertisers. I guess they've been out here this whole year. Underneath it was this big poster he had from public service announcement that was endorsed by council member Peter Vallone. And it basically said, graffiti of payphones is a crime and you'll go to jail. And John was always proud of having done that, gotten that endorsement from the city council person. Well, we'll see what the future brings. This thing is either going to scrap or maybe somebody will take on the responsibility of being a payphone service provider in this year of 2022. I'm sitting in this church yard, community garden type of thing, and I was waiting for the bells to ring, but I guess it's not going to happen today. Saturday, 5 p.m. Those pills I took have me feeling pretty serene, pretty calm, but still a little burned. I should really see a psychiatrist. Because I know what's going on. But I tried to see a psychiatrist several times over the last few years, and the wait time was always like 7 or 8 months. And if I had booked that 7-month appointment 7 months ago, I wouldn't have been able to go to it because my insurance changed. But maybe now that I'm in a regular job, maybe they have some better access to shrinks.